What if I told you that you've been lied to about ancestral healing for a long time? What if I told you it didn't have to be dark? It didn't have to be about trauma and depression and anxiety and self sabotage. While this is part of the process, ancestral healing should be about uplifting, becoming lighter, becoming more in tune with yourself. I have 6 strategies that will help you get along and walk yourself into the light side of ancestral healing while dealing with your shadows. Intrigued? Strategy number 6 is exceptionally interesting. So stick around, find out, and we will get into the light side of ancestral healing. So, if ancestral healing also is going to bring us joy and bring us some light, how can we go about figuring out the best ways to get started? If you think of your ancestral healing journey as kind of a home, and your home is filled with clutter, and any way you turn, you feel blocked and you feel there's not enough light in this house. Once you start decluttering and getting rid of all the things that are getting in your way that are no longer of any use to you, things brighten up. You can get to that window. You can open the window. You can let in the light. You can let in the fresh air. This is a real focus of ancestral healing. So just like remodeling and renovating your home, there are tough steps you have to take. It's not easy to get rid of some of that clutter. We're attached to a lot of things, but we have to figure out what's working in our benefit and what's working against us. We want to build a loving space and replace those old things that are harmful with new things that will help us and are healthy. This is how we'll get started. So, what is ancestral healing? If you are not familiar with the term, it basically is a way to address patterns and behaviors that we've inherited from our ancestors and work to heal them if they're not working to our benefit. Now, this can be a lifelong journey, and it can be something acute because a problem comes up and it doesn't seem to be your problem. It doesn't feel like it's yours, but you're dealing with it and it's heavy and it is weighing you down, preventing you from having the best life you can. This can be something that unfortunately you inherited from your ancestors. You can even carry it in your genes. By healing ancestral trauma, you'll be able to move forward and possibly bring the next generation with you, which is really great. And it's a very positive way to do healing. In order to address ancestral healing, sometimes you've got to look at things in you that are called the shadow. And we're going to deal with that in a little bit. But ancestral healing can bring you joy. You don't have to focus solely on the negative aspect. And it is a wonderful practice. So let's get going and find out a few tips that'll make life a little easier for you on your journey. All right, here we go. Strategy number 1 is to recognize your patterns. I know I'll go first. I am a procrastinator. And it is really, I tell people, oh, I work best under pressure. Yeah, sometimes yes, and sometimes no. But I'm the one who put myself under the pressure. And this has been since I was a child. This is nothing new. And I've gotten better, but it's still there. And you can go into all the psychological reasons that I might do that and why I'm wired a certain way. And I respect that. But when it gets in the way of you getting your job done or making progress in your life, it becomes a bad habit. Then it's time to do something about it. There are so many patterns that we repeat. And if you reflect on them and give yourself a little time to ponder them, some of them are right there in your face. Others are more subtle. That's why I have started journaling again. I keep a dream journal because, yes, I love dreams. But as far as the ancestral healing journey goes, I've added a new journal and I'm going to be continuing to write because when I go back and see things, I see a pattern. So now we get to an interesting one. This is one I love. This is creating a dialogue, and you're creating the dialogue with your ancestors. There are different ways to do this. I love to use my dreams, and I'll set an intention before I dream and maybe ask a question or try to visualize an ancestor to enlist their help or advice or just to know they're watching over me. But there are many ways to do this. You can meditate about it, even think about it, write about it. Of course, use your journal. But when you create a dialogue with an ancestor, you will receive information in different ways. You'll see synchronicities. There may be coincidences that happen, sometimes a sign. Sometimes you'll even hear from another relative who may have information about your ancestor. It's something to try. It's something to work on. It takes patience, but it is immensely rewarding when you really get into it and you go back and review what you've done. So that's strategy number 2. Now, let's delve into shadow work. Some of you may be familiar with it, but if you're not, shadow work is looking at aspects of yourself that are hidden, even aspects that you deny, but they are definitely part of who you are and your behavior and your personality. So when you are looking at your shadow, you are shining your light on part of you that you wanted to remain hidden. And because you wanted it to remain hidden, it's important to address it and to realize that it's part of you. This isn't a blame game or a shame game. On the contrary, when you know what your shadow is, you know that you have control over that instead of washing your hands of it, looking the other way, or denying that it's there. It's a big step. It's important work. It ties into ancestral healing 100%, and it's worth the journey. Now we're going to start a little shadow work, and we'll begin by identifying your shadows. A good way to identify a shadow is something that you are uncomfortable with about yourself, something that you might deny or that you keep hidden. Secrets, so many secrets are shadows. So you have your journal. Make a list of emotions that bother you, emotions that get in the way, emotions. Maybe you have a short temper. Maybe there are things that you are very quiet about and you feel blocked, or so there's something holding you back. You really might even physically feel that there is something holding you back. Write these emotions down, write the thought down, write even a word down. Don't think about it too much. Don't dwell on it. Let it flow. Let it flow. And then the next step is dealing with what you've written in your journal in a positive way. All right. You have some things written in your journal. You have some emotions written down. Sit silently for a while and Give yourself a chance to just observe and then ask either out loud or write it in your journal. What do you want me to learn from this? Simple question. The answers might be more complex, and that's okay. What you want to do is take this information, the feelings you have, the answers you might get, and receive them without judgment. Do not judge yourself. Not good, not bad. It's there. And now what? Just acknowledging the existence is a big step forward. It's getting lighter. Keep your journal open. We're not finished. So you've explored your shadow. You've shaken hands. You've got to know some of the darkness that's within everybody. Everybody has shadows. Now, what is the next step? The next step is inviting joy. Once you begin to accept yourself, you can love yourself. And it might not happen overnight. It won't, but it will happen. And then you invite joy into your life. And this is an open invitation for any time. It's difficult these days to experience real joy, but you find it in the smallest things, in everyday things, in the people closest to you, and even your pets. I have a crazy cat whom I love dearly, Miss Choice, and she's a joy in my life. We focus on these things. It's not denying the dark, it's not denying the shadows, but it shifts us to a lighter, brighter place. All right, the next strategy is creating a joy list. Now, this list, I'd like you to try to find, no, I don't want you to try. I really want you to find 10 things in your life that give you joy. It can be the smallest thing in the world, but I want you to think about being joyful and write them down in the journal. You don't have to be written all at one time. You can take a minute, an hour, a day, a month, but write those things down, because writing and words are very powerful. And when you see them, you can go back when you have those days when you're not feeling great about things that happened. Take a look at the list of things that bring you joy. It works, and it's a very basic thing to do. Well, here we are. And nobody said it is easy to change habits. Nobody said it's easy to go from a dark place to a light place. But here we are on our journey to do just that. If you can set a joyful intention every day, you will find it changes your perspective on yourself and on how you interact with other people and pets. One way to do it is to play your favorite song or play a song that lifts you up. You can dance to it, you can sing to it, listen to it, and let the music take you to a joyful place. That's one step. I'm sure you can think of many, many others. And I encourage you, whatever you read in the news, whatever you hear, set that joyful intention every day. Do it for you. Well, thank you for sticking around. And I think we can do this together if you're interested in ancestral healing and shadow work. I am very happy to be doing this work myself. I've done it before, and it's a work in progress, which is very worthwhile, especially in this day and age. I encourage you to take good care of yourself. I encourage you to look at all the good inside you. And I encourage you to try to be joyful in this transformation. I guess it's a difficult task in some ways, but if you do it together and you don't feel that you're alone, it makes it a little bit lighter. So there's a video up here that will explain a little bit more about shadow work and ancestral healing. And please come back and we'll continue this together. Bring your journal, and it's going to be a very interesting ride. Thank you so much. This is Vicki Trancho saying blessings and keep healing.